Welcome back once again, my CISSP wannabes. Colin Weaver, 2 questions daily. Let's go. In my first question today, there are 3 correct answers. I want you to pick them, and what I want you to tell me is which of these options are not bold-faced, italicized, underlined, are not characteristics of discretionary access control, or DAC. Go ahead and give those a read. When you think you got the right 3 answers, go ahead and click play again and we'll talk each one through. All right, first answer choice, object access is based on sensitivity. Yes, that is a characteristic of mandatory access control, and we are looking for things that are not characteristics of discretionary access control, so that is one of our correct answers. Good job. Second answer choice, it is more expensive and more difficult to implement. This is true. All you need to do is spend a few minutes with SE Linux in order to get an appreciation for that. So because difficulty and complexity and overall cost of implementation is much more difficult, those things are associated typically with mandatory access control. This means that this is one of the answer choices that we're looking for because they are not characteristics of discretionary access control. Generally, discretionary access control is regarded as being relatively inexpensive and easy to do and implement, and also to administer and manage. This third item on the list says that the object owner defines rights to the resource. That's actually true. That is a characteristic of DAC, so because it is one, it's not one of the answers that we're looking for. And hey, I just answered this one. It's easy to administer and use. That is a characteristic of discretionary access control, so not what we're looking for as far as the correct answer here. Next answer choice says that it is closely aligned with, after like 15 years, I still don't know how to say this. Bell Lapadula, Bell Lapadula. I think you can say it either way, and the person whose last name is Lapadula would probably respond. But it's one of those 2 pronunciations. If you know how to pronounce it, and you are certain you know how to pronounce it, please tell me down in the comments, because I'm more than a decade into it wondering myself. And I've actually Googled it before, and there's different arguments both ways. But Bell Lapadula, which is very much associated with the idea of keeping data confidential, is very strongly associated with mandatory access control, which means that it is not a characteristic of discretionary access control, which means it is one of the right answers for this question. Sweet. And our final answer choice is a characteristic of discretionary access control, so it is not one of our correct answers, and that says that it is less restrictive than role-based access control. Role-based access control is going to be more restrictive in its implementation than good old-fashioned DAC, or discretionary access control. All right, here comes question number 2. A race condition has been identified in a multi-threaded application running on your server. Which of these following items is the thing with which you would be most concerned regarding that race condition? Go ahead, if you need to, click on pause. When you're ready, press play. We can talk it out. All right, the right answer here is time of check, time of use vulnerabilities, or time of check, time of use errors. The way that these errors work is you typically have 2 or more threads that both want to read and make a modification to a particular value, and they do so in such a way that when the change is made, it causes one of them to actually have the value be different than what it was when they read it. And that ultimately ends up with errors that can lead to all manner of potentially bad things, whether it's issues with authentication and authorization, or simply with just adding numbers. There can be any number of these things, and they can be fairly complex. Most of the examples, like if you look down in the links below, the examples that go in and talk about it, some of them are very generic and are good for helping us understand it, particularly from a CISSP level. But if you're an actual developer or programmer who's going in and working with this stuff, sometimes they can be very difficult to track down because they might be spread across multiple different modules in a complicated application. So I'm not even going to begin to act like they're easy to go in and always identify, but it is certainly something that we are concerned about when we deal with race conditions in systems. All right, sweet. 2 more questions down. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you clicking like, and I appreciate you subscribing. I do these questions every single day. Well, that's not true. I do them every single weekday. I take the weekends off. Next time you see me, it will be a weekday, and we'll do this again. Peace out.